A very warm welcome to the drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Austrian Grand Prix. We have two groups coming your way, as ever. Here is Group 1, closest to me, Logan Sargent, then Zhou Guanyu, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. A very warm welcome to you all. Carlos, if we could start with you, please. Hope all's good. Now, can we throw it back to Canada first of all? Just how much of a boost was that race after a difficult Saturday?
I think it was a good boost for the whole team, mainly looking at the race pace after a couple of difficult races where we were struggling with race pace. Finally in Canada we seemed to have good race pace. Also the fact that we were going forward in the race and not going backwards makes a bit of a difference also for the perception of things, no? Because we actually finished 4th and 5th. That is a very similar result than in the other race weekends that we've had, but the perception, the way that we were on the race, the pace was definitely different, which was good news, and a boost of motivation for the whole team.
You managed to control your tyre degradation very well during the race. How did you manage that? Breakthrough?
Same than any other race weekend. Just have a lower deck circuit, which helps us for sure. It just shows, that when you have a good race car, when your tire management is good, also the strategy is simpler. It's easier to make the strategy work. So that's what we are focusing on, to make sure that we focus on the race pace, make sure that we have more often the car of Canada than the car of Barcelona, and that will help us to, in the races, move forward, make our strategy more flexible, and have obviously more fun in the race.
You went to Canada on the back of a Pirelli tyre test at Barcelona. I was wondering if you'd found anything in that test that helped you with tyre management in Canada?
No, unfortunately, or fortunately for Pirelli, we were testing the new no blankets tires, which obviously you cannot learn much or apply much for our situation this year. Obviously, I still prefer to run, still prefer to do the test, and there's always things that you can try with your driving, etc. But it's not like in this test you can actually really test anything or put something in place for the race weekend.
Okay, final one from me, Carlos. You're running upgrades this weekend in Spielberg. What are you expecting from them?
Well, another step in the right direction. This is definitely the target. The team back in Maranello has done an incredible effort to bring them forward to this race. I cannot thank enough, the people back in Maranello with the extra hours that everyone's put in to try and revert the situation and trying to put those extra minutes, extra hours of work to make these parts arrive. It's been a huge effort by everyone, and from here I wanted to congratulate them and tell them that we're going to do our best to make them work well, and hopefully they are all worth it and we can be competitive this weekend.
In terms of lap time?
I'll tell you when I test them and I can feel them.
All right. Good luck. Thank you, Carlos. Fernando, coming to you now. Aston Martin introduced a significant upgrade last time out in Montreal. This is a very different kind of racetrack. So in terms of performance, what are you expecting?
I don't know, really. I think we have to see tomorrow in the free practice how the car feels, how competitive we can be this weekend. I think we have different performance in Barcelona and Canada, different feeling with the car. So hopefully we are closer to Canada kind of performance and try to exploit a little bit more the package, because in Canada I think the weekend was very short after the cancellation of FP1, so it's going to be a very short weekend again here, only FP1, but hopefully we can test a few things on the car.
Now, you were 9 seconds behind Max Verstappen in Canada. Do you feel the gap between Aston and Red Bull Racing is coming down, or do you think that was track specific?
I don't know. I think we need to wait for different layouts, different circuit, because as I said, in Barcelona just 2 weeks before Canada we were 55 seconds or 1 minute behind the leaders. So I think it was track specific. It was a very good weekend for us, but I don't know. I hope we can close that gap. Yes.
Okay, that's Red Bull. what about your battle with Ferrari and Mercedes? How do you see that playing out this weekend?
Well, that's definitely more interesting for us. I think Red Bull is in their own league at the moment this year. So for us, it is important to score points with both cars in every weekend, and try to keep up the fight with Mercedes and Ferrari, which obviously is still, hard to believe for us, that we are in this battle. When we start the season in Bahrain, we were definitely not expecting to be up there, and now we are just enjoying every weekend, and it's good to be in this battle.
All right, enjoy this one. Thank you, Fernando. Now, George, can we start with you? Sorry to remind you, but it was an unfortunate end to your race in Canada. But let's focus on the positives and just tell us, were you pleasantly surprised by the pace of the car last time out?
Yeah, definitely. I think going from it's a nice replay you've got there. Appreciate that. It was. I think going from Barcelona, which is probably a circuit that suited us down to a T, then to Canada, a totally opposite circuit, to see that we still had pretty good pace fighting with the Astons. Max didn't seem too far ahead either. Things are definitely going in the right direction. So this will be another interesting weekend. Sprint race, never straightforward. But I think as a team, we're making really good progress.
Do you think the characteristics of the Red Bull Ring will suit your car better than Montreal?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it will suit us better than Montreal. I think Silverstone will be slightly step in the right direction again, more similar to Barcelona. But as I said, we're developing really, really well at the moment. The team back at Brackley, the team here are doing an exceptional job to improve what we've got and try and close that gap.
Now, both Mercedes and Aston Martin looked a little bit closer to Red Bull last time out. Is that the reality of the situation, or are they still 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of you?
I mean, it feels like to a degree they're coming a little bit closer to us. I think when you look at the average compared to the whole field, for whatever reason, it seems like Red Bull may have taken a small step back. But when they're 3 steps ahead, they're now 2 steps ahead. So they've still got a lot of margin. I think I was told recently, or just about half an hour ago, that I think they've won the last 17 out of the 18 races. So, they're cruising at the moment. They're doing a really good job, but hopefully it's not too long until we can turn the tide.
It was you who broke their run in Brazil last year, wasn't it? Look, final one from me, George. Both you and Lewis had crashes in Q3 at this track last year. Just tell us a little bit about how difficult it is to set the car up for this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a combination of corners. Being on the hill, it's always quite exposed to the wind, so it's you get these moments where it catches you out. But it's the same for everybody. Last year wasn't our finest qualifying session, but we had a good race. And this year's going to be a different dynamic again, with the weather that may be here on throughout the weekend, with only the 1 practice session. So I'm excited to get going.
Come on to our world champion, Max Verstappen. Now, Max, before we talk about this weekend, can we talk about mega trucks? Because
yeah, we can.
You raced one against Yuki Tsunoda recently. What was it like to drive?
Quite painful. I thought, the suspension would do a better job, but it didn't really. So I was actually jumping around quite a lot, yeah.
Well, look, let's bring it on to this weekend. I touched with Nick on it.
That was it? That was
that was it. I mean,
okay, all right.
Did you beat Yuki?
No, I didn't. Well, not in the race, but in qualifying I did. But I, of course, had a bit of a weight penalty.
That was it. That was the reason.
It's like 40 kilos, I think. So, yeah.
It looked fun. I've seen the video. It looked fun.
No, it was good. We had a good day, and we definitely laughed a lot. So that's, for me, the most important as well.
Look, brilliant. Now, let's bring it on to this weekend, which is, Max, it's a poignant one because it's the first Austrian Grand Prix since the death of Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz. Are emotions running high this weekend?
Well, I think we've had already a few Grand Prix without Dietrich, of course, by our side, and you just have to face it. You have to deal with it, and we race also to make him proud and just carry on that legacy. So coming here, home Grand Prix, we always enjoy coming here anyway, and we want to win, definitely.
Okay, and chances of winning? The gap to second place was down to 9 seconds last time out in Montreal. Helmut Marko said after the race that it was to do with sort of the track temperature and things like that. Do you expect to be more dominant here at the Red Bull Ring than you were in Montreal?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, in a sprint weekend, so many things can go well or can go wrong. It's always very hectic. So I guess we'll just find out, honestly. I don't know. We can speculate about it now, but we'll find out on Sunday.
Okay, final one. There's a lot of orange in the grandstands, as Nick just said. Any message to your fans this weekend?
Don't get too drunk. Just watch the race, enjoy, and yeah, it will be good to see them. I mean, it's always nice to see the orange color next to the track. So, and I think also about this track is that on any grandstand you sit, you can actually see a lot of the track, and that makes it, I think, very unique.